Hey guys, it's Ferocious Llama. I'm here with another modern deck. Kind of a brew. I saw it about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. I really didn't think anything of it, and then just it was funny because I recorded these, and then um, uh, I just recently saw that Luis Scott Vargas had posted this same deck on channelfireball.com. So it's kind of a cool deck, a little bit wacky. I don't know how good it is, but it's certainly a fun deck to play. Once it gets going, and I think it's a little fragile, but it works, and it's a pretty cool deck. We'll start off with the lands. We have two Academy runes because it's a lot of artifact based deck. A lot of artifacts in the deck, so it's because it's artifact based. Three Mox Opals for additional mana, and then down here off the screen is kind of our combo right here. Is our Codex Shredders, which you probably never heard of. Says target player puts the top card of his library into his graveyard, and then we have Ghoul Caller's Bell, which is both players put the top card of their library into their graveyard. And Lantern of Insight, that says players play with the top card of their library revealed. And we can sack it to make a player sacrifice his library or shuffle his library, but we don't ever do that hardly, because what we're trying to do is when we see a card that's a problem for us. Here's our plan. We get Ensnaring Bridge into play. If we're playing against someone with a lot of removal, Spellskite, so that we can get our Ensnaring Bridge into play. We protect it with Spellskite. We kill anything of theirs that's pesky with Abrupt Decay, and surgically extract anything that's a major problem. And then basically what we do is when we see a good card on the top of the library, we use our Codex Shredder or our Ghoul Caller's Bell and mill it. And a lot of times we'll have 3 or 4 of these in play and build them just mill, and then until they draw like a land or something we don't want them to draw, and then problem solved. It's pretty sweet, actually. And then we have 3 Pithy Meals because Qasali Pride Mage is a problem. Seal of Primordium is a problem. There are, several problem cards that it really helps to stop. In fact, in one game in this video set, because I already played before I did the deck, before I'm doing this deck tech, I named a land, a fetch land, and opponent only had one other land, and I'm sure it contributed to them losing that game. So. And then we have 2 Pirate Spellbombs because they kill stuff and they kill our opponent if we really need to. If they have like a very aggressive deck or something that we can't really control that well, if they have just so much like a burn deck, we really don't want to try and deck a burn deck because we'll be there. That's a project. What we'll do is we'll Pirate Spellbomb all their stuff, all their creatures, and then we'll kill our opponent with Pirate Spellbombs. So, kind of a cool deck. It's red, green, black are our colors. And, I'm sorry, not red. Not on the main board. The only red is for Pyrite Spellbomb. And for the sideboard, we have Pyroclasms and an Ancient Grudge. And then the sideboard, we have three Nature's Claims. Now, most of the time I found that when we kill our own, it's better to kill our own stuff with Nature's Claims. They're like vest against like the burn matchup. If you notice, like the entire sideboard is really focused around real aggro heavy decks. Like Ancient Grudge is good for killing any artifacts. Nature's Claim gains life, and I found that they're great against burn. Pyroclasm is good against any kind of aggro deck, and then Bow of Nylea. It's versatile. It's silly and it seems weird, but it has won me a game before. Not in this video series, but it won me a game when I was playing earlier this week with the deck. They had a Snapcaster Mage, and I had 2 cards in hand. Or I had 1 card in hand, they bounced something and thought they could attack me. So, in response, I just put a +1/+1 counter on their Snapcaster Mage and made it a 3/2, and then it couldn't attack. So, it's got that going for it. It also gains us 3 life, which is always good. And it can do 2 damage to stuff with flying. I've never used that ability. I've used it to gain life because I was worried about Burn or Siege Rider or something like that. And I've used it to put counters on the opponent's creatures. I've never ever used the Death Touch ability, that it gives, because there are no creatures in this deck, except for Spellskite, but it doesn't do any damage ever. So, and then we have 2 Welding Jars just for removal heavy decks. Grafdigger's Cage to stop Collected Company, because Collected Company is very, very good, and all the Collected Company decks are a real thing, and one of them even won. I think GP Charlotte, I think is what it was. The Collected Company Elves deck beat Splinter Twin. Now, to be fair, though, I want to tell everybody I saw that, and I don't know if anybody else saw that match, but the guy playing Twin was playing a Cavern of Souls instead of a Tectonic Edge, and they say he'd been playing it all day, but his deck list didn't match the deck he was presenting to play, and the penalty for that is a game loss. So he got a game loss, and then he essentially played a game one, and so no sideboards, but it's basically Elves has to win one game and Twin has to win two in order to, whoever does that first wins the tournament. And the guy playing Elves drew his single copy of Fauna Shaman and immediately searched up as soon as he could, searched up a Spellskite when the opponent had the combo in hand, like about to kill him. And so he just had like 2 Llanowar Elves and a Spellskite and a Fauna Shaman and was just swinging for 4 every single turn. And it was pretty awesome. And ended up winning. But it's a real deck, and I'm saying I don't know if that would have happened in a 2 out of 3 matchup with sideboards and everything else, but I am saying that Collected Company is a real thing. But before everybody starts selling off their Splinter Twins to go buy Collected Company, just know that there was a game loss ahead of time. And then Sun Droplet, great against Burn. I found that Sun Droplet, it's not as good as I thought it was. I think it's a great card, and I tried playing it. I didn't draw any against the Burn matchup, which was kind of a bummer, but he had tons of artifact removal anyway, so I don't think it mattered because he would have just killed it. But I found that I like Sun Droplet against like the more like creature-based decks, but not decks that are not removal heavy, but spell damage heavy. Like just like creature decks that don't have a lot of disruption, I guess, is what I think Sundrop is good for. Because it's easy to kill, everything kills it, everything that kills an artifact kills it, because it's a low casting cost, and everything else, and then it takes time to gain the life back. So it's really only good against, like decks that have one creature attacking you, and if it's like a 2/2 or a 3/2 or whatever. So those some of those Grixis decks that'll play like a Creeping Tar Pit and try to kill you with that. Sundroplet's great against that, especially at 2, because it's each upkeep, not your upkeep. So you'd gain, you'd take 3 damage, and then you'd gain 1 life from each one during your upkeep, and 1 life during your opponent's upkeep from each one. So you gain 4 life. You're essentially gaining a life every turn. In fact, I've done that before, where I use my Llanowar Waste to, play like a 1-mana artifact, but you use it to make colored mana. So I make black or green mana. It pings me, and then I get 2 counters on my Sun Droplets, and I just gain life back. And so I essentially gain a life. So that was a really neat interaction. So there's a lot of really cool interactions in the deck, and really it's about controlling our components' draw steps is really what this is about. And it has really, really minimal stuff. Like it's got 4 ensnaring bridges to prevent creature combat, because that's what we don't want is, our opponent to attack us and kill us. And then it's got a little bit of disruption. It's got duress and inquisition. And then, surgical extractions for those real big problem cards. And then all the rest is mill. And then really the only board control of any kind is Pirate Spellbomb and Abrupt Decay. And, Ensnaring Bridge, sorta. But the only conventional cards are Abrupt Decay and Pirate Spellbomb. So, not a whole lot going on there. So this deck does have a problem with very aggressive decks like pretty much anything with a lot of aggression, like Burn and creature decks. Creature decks, if we get an Ensnaring Bridge out, we do okay, but a lot of times it's Burn. Burn is the hardest one, I think, in my opinion, based on the matches I've played with the deck. So, anyway, that's the deck, and I hope you guys enjoy the videos. Thanks for watching.